What's up, everybody, and happy Tuesday, October 21st, 2025. And we're back here with another episode of the Motor Stardom Show. I'm RJ Starswick, host of the Motor Stardom Show, owner and founder of Motor Stardom. Find us on Instagram at Motor Stardom. You can log on to motorstardom.com, check out the latest headlines, latest articles, what time the next race is, when the next Motor Stardom show is, what the last Motor Stardom show was. You can also check out Motor Stardom on TikTok. Follow me, RJ Starswick, on Twitter. I think I've covered all the at least the main areas of ways that you can reach out. But anyways, we're here. It's October 21st. As I said, it's a Tuesday. We're coming off of a big Talladega weekend, which it always is, one of the biggest tracks in NASCAR. And it was a triple header weekend, Trucks, Xfinity Series, and Cup. And now we head into Martinsville, the paperclip, where all three of those top series will now fight to determine who the top four will be, who the championship four will be, and who will be fighting for a championship in Phoenix. So thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. It was certainly some interesting races to watch. All three races, when you talk about the Truck Series, the Xfinity Series, and the Cup Series, all race completely different, right? The trucks are more so, you see a little bit more two-wide action. The pushes are very on edge. Obviously, one thing you always got to take into consideration is the experience level of all the fields are very different compared to, the Cup Series, the Xfinity Series, and the Truck Series. We get to talk to three guys today, possibly four if Mason Maggio works his way in here today. But we get to talk to Nick Leitz, driver of the number 07 for SS Greenlight Racing. We get to talk to Cesar Baccarella, who has been on the show a few times. A lot of people that have regularly tuned into the show, who Cesar Baccarella is and what he's all about. Got a fifth place finish at Talladega this weekend, the best of his career. Nick Leitz as well, I should mention, finished in the 11th position. And then Tyler Tomassi will be joining us at 7:30. Didn't quite get the result that they maybe would have wanted, but honestly, sometimes what they want is a clean truck at the end of the race, and that's what they got. And don't be minded, I don't know exactly what the stage results were for each stage, but he was up there. He was making things happen, and that 69 truck was looking nice, and it was looking fast as well. Notably, Casey Mears will be driving it this weekend. I'll be displaying this for Tyler Tomassi when he comes into the stream, but Casey Mears making his 600th career start in the 69 truck this weekend at Martinsville. We'll see what he's capable of. Obviously, raced the Cup Series race there earlier in the spring, so that'll be interesting to see what happens there. But let's kind of recap some of the headlines here going around NASCAR. We'll start kind of with the news of the day. Rajah Caruth officially has been announced to Junior Motorsports. He will be joining that organization on a part-time basis for the 2026 season. We don't know exactly how many races he's going to do. We don't know exactly where, right? Some of these part-time deals, who's taking Daytona, who's taking the second race of the season. We just know Rajah will be driving a handful of races for this team, for this organization. I think a great opportunity for him, a guy that's been able to prove himself in a prime position to move to the Final Four here in the Truck Series. We know it's been dominated by Corey Heim, but in this system, we know it can just come down to one race. So that's certainly anything is possible, and Rajah Caruth could find himself winning the championship next weekend at Phoenix. But nonetheless, next year he will get looking forward to drive the famed number 88, the same car number that Connor Zilisch is driving this year, and possibly will win the championship in. So we'll see. It will be fun to see him in there. Kind of various things going around here during silly season. Junior Motorsports is kind of finalizing their lineup here. We got Rajah Caruth. He's going to split the season with somebody to be named at a later date. We know the number 1 car will be shared by Carson Kvapil, Connor Zilisch, maybe like a few other guys, some that come in for a specific race, right? There's always sometimes 1 or 2 races open. We know the 7 car will be Justin Allgaier. He's coming back. We know the 8 car will be Sammy Smith, he's coming back. The number 9 car is also being brought back as the all-star car, right? Could be filled out by more drivers, but we know that just like this year, Ross Chastain and Shane Van Gisbergen will return to fill out those roles. So you kind of look at the Xfinity Series here and you kind of start to wonder, where these rides will kind of fizzle out. We know Sam Mayer and Sheldon Creed will be back with Haas Factory Team next year. What will RCR look like? Obviously, Jesse Love and Austin Hill are the ones under contract there. Brandon Jones just going back to JGR. They had a hot year. Imagine they keep things together. We know Nick Sanchez is coming back to the 48. Where does Harrison Burton go now? We know AM Racing and them are splitting ways. Where does Harrison Burton head up? And what does a team like Colleague Racing do with all the things in the truck series that's going on with Ram? The rumors about their Xfinity Series team compromising completely. So we'll see what happens there, especially when you have a young gun like Christian Eckes, but he could end up in the trucks along with Daniel Dye. And then we'll see how many races drivers like Eric Almirola run next year. What will happen to Matt DiBenedetto? Is Anthony Alfredo going to move around? Certainly lots of things to cover. No big Cup Series storylines really, but certainly lots of things to cover throughout this Xfinity Series field and what will happen next year. But we can talk about the Cup Series and kind of the one story that's going around right now, and that's what is Spire Motorsports going to do with that number 7 car. Well, it seems like they'll have an announcement this week. That car is slated to be driven by Daniel Suarez in 2026, who ultimately was canned by Trackhouse Racing. The two did not reach an agreement to return. It was kind of like all right, Trackhouse Racing seemingly probably didn't want to bring him back, knew it was time. They had to put Connor Zilisch in that car or else somebody was going to already. So Connor Zilisch ends up getting the Cup seat. Daniel Suarez is, a free agent. Spire Motorsports is not seeing the production out of Justin Haley that they feel like they need to see. He's 31st in the point standings, only above Ty Dillon, Cole Custer, Noah Gragson, Riley Herbst, and Cody Ware. So certainly not the season that they've wanted, while his teammates, Carson Hocevar in 23rd and Michael McDowell in 21st. Justin Haley's been a driver that, he comes in. He's certainly won a selection of races for, insane reasons, right? So he's not necessarily that guy. I forgot this next damn saying. Oh boy.
Hi.
Hey.
I'm can you hear me? Do I sound okay?
Yeah.
Motor Stardom host. I just wanted to say I love everybody on the Motor Stardom show. Love RJ. Love Maggio still. I'm sorry that I'm gone. It's really upsetting. I hope that I can come back one day in some capacity, but I saw you were chopping it up alone, so I figured this was a good time to join and say hello. Crazy weekend of NASCAR, huh?
Yes. Huh? Crazy weekend, man. I appreciate you joining in and saying, I guess, maybe not your total goodbyes, right? But, more of a see you later kind of thing, right? We're going
right. And you and Mason both know I love you guys both. It's just other opportunities came up. Tuesday nights have been really tough for me to make. I didn't want to hold you guys back. I didn't want to hold the show back, and I'm glad to see you two are going to continue doing it and kicking ass and taking names, and looking forward to the future. You're building something great here, building something special. I'm really proud of what you guys are doing. So if you ever decide you need old Stephen J back for an episode, you just let me know. I have plenty of opinions, plenty of takes. Sitting in line at McDonald's right now.
I was about to ask you if you were in a McDonald's drive-thru. I was waiting to ask you.
So I am. The Eagles have a promotion where if they get a sack, you get a free Big Mac with any $2 order or more. So I just finagled 6 nuggies, a double cheese, and a Big Mac for $4. And I'm freaking ecstatic about this. So, yeah. I don't really got anything else to add. I appreciate you putting me on. I also, just really quick, I could not leave this out. Have to say goodbye to Checkered Flag Dan. I mean, there's no other way around it. I feel bad leaving him high and dry. He was upset. He DM'd me on Twitter. He said, "Where is Stephen Malazzi?" And I was like, I'll give Checkered Flag Dan his retribution. I'll say goodbye and call it a day. So I really appreciate last year for everybody who's tuned in. It's been awesome. And like I said, I look forward to at some point coming back on as you guys continue to grow what you're doing here. So
yeah. 1000%. I got big plans, as you know, for the Motor Stardom show next year, for Motor Stardom as a whole. And there will always be, a part of it in room for Stephen J. So we appreciate the ride. I hope you enjoy your McDonald's and enjoy Brandon Graham coming out of retirement.
Yeah, baby. Love you, mean it. Go Birds. My pick for the championship. Real quick, before we go, I'm giving it to Denny Hamlin. He finally is going to do it this year. I feel it in my balls. That's my bold prediction to sign me off of the Motor Stardom Show. You heard it here first. 3 Joe Gibbs cars in the final 4, but Denny Hamlin is going to take it down. They're going to self-sabotage the other 2 because they want Denny to finally get his ring, and somebody's just got to take out Kyle Larson or Joey Logano, who probably bullshits his way in with some Martinsville win. So, RJ, love you, mean it. Proud of you always, and I look forward to being back on soon.
Awesome. Thank you, my friend. Enjoy your McDonald's. Thank you for the kind words. That was Stephen J. Malazzi for those who have watched the show all year. Nothing scripted on here, so that wasn't either. Dude was in a McDonald's drive-thru and decided to join in and say his goodbyes to everybody here in the Motor Stardom Show. It's been a great year. As I kind of said on the last show, we've had a bunch of tremendous guests this year. We know he won't be on the show going forward, but the memories are certainly unmatched. I mean, the Ricky Stenhouse Jr. episode to the Caesar Baccarella cameos and not being able to get Josh Rayom on yet. And I say yet because it will happen soon. But certainly a lot of awesome memories on the show this year. But like I said, next year is going to be even better. But hey, the year's not over yet. We're almost finished. We got a few weeks left here. I don't know exactly how many weeks left we're going to go here with the Motor Stardom Show, but we know next week we'll be talking to Corey Day. Hopefully we'll be talking to Leland Honeyman here in a few weeks. We got some youngsters. We got some great guests lined up coming up to talk to, and next year is going to be even better. So where was I? We're talking about the Cup Series. We're talking about Justin Haley got replaced in the 7 car, going to get replaced by Daniel Suarez. Why? Because he's 31st in points. It ain't clicking. Inspire Motorsports has seemingly kind of solidified themselves as an organization that's going to do it a little bit differently than everybody else, right? They're not going to only play the money game, the logistics game, the whatever you call it, pulling this string, that string. No, if they don't like your performance, they're going to kick you to the curb. Spire knows they built themselves up as an agency, as a business, right? They started from the bottom, continued to work their way up, and now, build their relationships. And now they're at the point where they are now, where they can compete for race wins. So if they have a driver that's not competing for race wins on at least an occasional basis, or at least competing for top 5s, top 10s, you're going to the curb. Corey LaJoie went to the curb last year. We saw the first ever, at least in a while, driver trade, literally mid-season or end of season. Send him to Rick Ware. Let's bring Justin Haley and get an early start. Clearly they saw things weren't working with Ronnie Childers, I guess, right? Whoever's fault that was, the relationship was ended. So they're an organization that you better perform. You better perform quick or we're going to kick you to the curb. And that's kind of been the story of Daniel Suarez's career, right? So what's going to happen in this 2026 season? Is Daniel Suarez going to come out and perform, or is it kind of going to go like every other step is gone in his career, unfortunately, right? Starting out at Joe Gibbs Racing, late notice, right? The championship, you could say whether he, fluke or not, whatever. Anyways, he wins the Xfinity Series championship, replaces Carl Edwards on short notice, doesn't go the way they want it to go in an organization that's winning championships. Get rid of him. Stewart-Haas Racing comes along, drives the famed, not great 41 car, doesn't go the way they'd want. Kick to the curb, Gaunt Brothers Racing, whatever, that goes how it's probably going to go. And here comes Trackhouse, the big opportunity, picks him up. Not too much really happens with it. They get a few victories. They have some good runs. I mean, certainly been the best, he's run throughout his entire career, at least compared to the field that he's competing against now. But like they say, they look at the standings, and Daniel Suarez is 28th in the point standings. Shane Van Gisbergen, obviously going to be up there a little bit more because he's a playoff driver. 12th in the playoffs, or 12th in the point standings. I mean, Shane Van Gisbergen could, no, I don't think he's not going to finish top 10. But, he can maintain that 12th place spot in the points for sure, which would be huge for them. And then the guy right above him is Ross Chastain in 11th. So Trackhouse Racing looks at that. They want some race-winning drivers. And who's to say, we probably said the same thing about Ty Gibbs, but are we a little bit more hyped about Connor Zilisch than Ty Gibbs? I would say so. So Connor Zilisch, can he win next year, especially with how good he is on the road courses and, how acclimated he already is and dominating on the ovals? I think it's certainly a possibility. So next year, now we have 3 race-winning drivers at Trackhouse, where you kind of had 2 and 1 questionable. And clearly they are building for the future with Connor Zilic. So Zilic over at Trackhouse, Daniel Suarez over at Spire. As far as the Cup Series, no other moves are really going to happen. The only thing that we really are still watching, unfortunately, which is stupid and I hate it, but the lawsuit 2311 and FRM has gone literally over a year now. And so that is one thing we have to watch with the charters, right? What happens? How many cars are both of those teams pulling up with next year? FRM's drivers, what happens to No Gregson? What happens to Zane Smith? We know Todd Gillen's pretty much on lock. And then 2311, what goes on with their drivers? We know their goal is to retain all three, even Riley Herbst, which Jimmy Spencer took the words right out of everybody's mouth of Toyota's making a huge mistake not getting Corey Heim in that car. We know it's money and this and that, but in a perfect, normal, hypothetical world, Corey Heim should be in that race car. There's just no doubt about it. So hopefully something happens for Corey Heim soon. Colleague Racing in the Cup Series, AJ Allmendinger is going to be back next year. Ty Dillon looks like he likely be back next year in that 10 car. Nothing's come out officially, but over the last few months they've pretty much hinted as that's going to happen again, and he will be back. But yeah, so that's nothing really too much else as far as big dominoes to fall in the Cup Series, except for what will be announced next week by Spire Motorsports. And like I said, the Xfinity Series, it'll be interesting to see what happens over there. I think the Truck Series only has like 3 confirmed rides, I think, right now. I mean, we kind of get an idea. A lot of those rides are kind of announced over the off season, but we'll see what happens in the Truck Series as well. Oh, I did bring up this one. Speaking of the Truck Series, we can talk about this for a second. Brendan Queen. How about that? The ARCA Menard Series standout this year for Pinnacle Racing Group is going to the Colleague Trucks. He was the first official driver announced to that Ram team. We can kind of make the assumption that Daniel Dye's going there. There's been rumors about Christian Eckes possibly landing there. A few other drivers as well, but we know Colleague Racing has seemingly invested Brendan Queen the rest of this year. They've put him in their Xfinity Series cars, and so now he's going to go and sign a multi-year deal with Colleague Racing, and start with them at Ram. Seemingly, this is something that Colleague Racing needed to do, because they were in a rough spot. They were in a rough spot in the Cup Series. They're in a rough spot in the Xfinity Series. Their team just was not performing to the par that we would have thought they would be performing, 3-4 years ago, especially in the Xfinity Series. I mean, they were the cream of the crop. And now they can't even win a race in the Xfinity Series. So, it's certainly something that's needed, and we'll see how far, Colleague and Ram are able to build their relationship to kind of help them in the future. Storyline from Talladega, Norm Benning's okay. His truck literally caught on fire middle of the race. This is their best truck, right? This is a Speedway truck he's driven the last few years. They got it from Henderson Motorsports. And so wasn't having a great day. The speed wasn't bad, but had some mechanical issues, came to the garage, brought it back out. Clearly didn't fix everything because it caught on fire. But 73-year-old Norm Benning was able to climb out of that truck and be okay. I think he was further evaluation probably this week, had a few doctor's appointments, but according to him, he's racing in Martinsville. So Storm is all good. He got out of that flaming racetrack, and he's going to race at Martinsville this week for the love of the game. As far as the Xfinity Series playoffs go, Connor Zilic and Justin Allgaier, we know, will be competing for a championship. As the race wins have been stolen as of recent. I say stolen. It's very intriguing what's going on here in the Xfinity Series. It's going to make Phoenix really interesting because while Austin Hill and Eric Almirola have won and they're not competing for the Drivers' Championship, those cars are now competing for the Owners' Championship in the finale. Because Austin Hill's, the owner's points of the 21 wasn't stripped away, the playoff points, and nor were the 19s, right? 19 car was fighting for the owner's championship, so Eric Almirola will be driving that 19 to try and win an owner's title at Phoenix, a lot of money, and Austin Hill will be fighting to win an owner's title for the 21 for Richard Childress Racing, and they will be fighting against Zilic or Allgaier unless there's a new winner. Then that would shake up the owner's standings. But as far as the driver's standings, we are looking at a situation where Carson Guapel is plus 11. Jesse Love's pretty much locked in plus 40. Sammy Smith is closest minus 11, a track that he was very good at last year, or earlier this year, I should say. Brandon Jones minus 20, Sam Mayer minus 22, and Sheldon Creed minus 41. Certainly anyone in there can come out and win the race. Truck Series is pretty crazy. Ankrum +8, Raja +14. The highest guy, Caden Honeycutt +5 going to track. He's pretty good at. We got some short track guys behind him. Majeski -5, Lane Riggs -6. Daniel Hamrick won here earlier in the year -32, and Grant Enfinger always is willing to lay it on the line. He's sitting back there -40 in a must-win situation. So the playoffs is what we will be talking about all weekend long. Seemingly, we may get an announcement soon about the playoffs and what the future will be. Will it be a chase? Will it be a new revamped playoffs? If we get the chase, I'm going to be a very happy guy. It seems like Cup Series, like NASCAR, where we've increased horsepower. They've done a few things that have kind of listened to the feedback of the fans and the drivers lately. So it's kind of given us hope, right? But a lot of people have come out recently, including myself, talking about how much we kind of missed the chase, and it was the perfect balance. It was the playoffs for NASCAR, right? It was a perfect playoff for NASCAR, the chase for the Cup. So hopefully it does come back. We'll see if it does. Let's look at some of the wrecks from this weekend. This one was pretty big, and we were all a little concerned about AJ Allmendinger, that hit he took at the beginning there. Eric Jones gets into Gregson, spins him up. This was the big one. That happened right at the end of, I believe, green flag stops, coming kind of to the end of the stage. So just bad push, unfortunately seems to happen a lot. Seems to be one of the only things that really, these next gen cars kind of ricochet off of each other. Big hits. Justin Haley smacks the wall there, and then over to Xfinity.
Almirola continues to
That's just a list.
And there's a crash. Caution is out. Almirola involved.
That damn car was in the air. Look at this thing. Let's pause it right here. Holy cow. Hard hit. He says his foot is bruised, but he will be going to Martinsville this weekend. Really excited to talk about the end of this race because there were a lot of great stories. Even our own Mason Maggio was up there at the end, and unfortunately, the car freaking broke. The car broke on him, and not a slight to the vehicle and the equipment at all. That damn 91 was a rocket ship, and I knew that was going to be one of the best things Mr. Maggio has ever driven in his career, at least on a super speedway. And it was surely, qualified 19th, I believe Mason did, running all the way up at the front. This thing's blurred as hell, but you could see him 15th there in the bottom in the 91. You look at after this crash, too, I think Nick Leitz right there, 22nd, who'll be coming on here in just a few minutes. Cesar Baccarella was in 23rd. I wish I queued up the entire finish so we could watch it with some of these guys, but ultimately just craziness. Leland Honeyman was up there. There were so many great stories in this race that you just kind of have to take note of and appreciate. We can go down the list. Not just the people that we're talking about that we're going to have on the show today. You got Christian Eckes obviously gets fourth there. He's had a lot of great finishes this year. Caesar in fifth, but we got Blaine Perkins, P6. We'll talk about Parker Retzloff, Caesar's driver / teammate, finishing in the 7th position. We mentioned Leland Honeyman. He got 8th. Nick Light's teammate, Garrett Smithley, was right behind him in 12th. Josh Williams, the Xfinity fastest lap for him and Alpha Prime Racing. He finishes 14th. Kyle Sieg, 15th. Joey Gase, 16th. David Starr in 18th. How about I'm tired. How about a double top 20 for Joey Gase Motorsports there? Brendan Poole, 19th. Alpha Prime gets all 4 of their drivers in the top 20, which is something I don't think they've ever done in the rare races that they've had 4 cars. And then Carson Ware keeps it clean. Mike Harmon Racing gets their best finish since 2020, I believe is what I heard, or 2022 at least. So either way, best finish for Mike Harmon Racing in a few years is in that 74 car. So awesome stuff there from the Xfinity series. And now we await Nick Leitz, who's going to join us here in about 5 minutes. We're going to take a short break, and we will be back with Xfinity Series driver Nick Leitz. And then at 7 o'clock, it's Cesar Baccarella. Then at 7:30, it's Tyler Tomassi. We got a bunch of star-studded guests coming on here, all back to back to back. So we're taking a quick break here, and we'll be back with Nick Leitz. Guys, welcome back to the Motor Stardom Show on this Tuesday evening, October 21st, 2025. We got done discussing all of the events from Talladega this weekend, all three series. So it is 6:30, and I'm pleasured to be joined by the man that finished 11th place this weekend in the Xfinity Series race for SS Greenlight Racing. We've talked to a few SS Greenlight Racing people this year, so I'm glad to collect the final piece of the Infinity Stone here with Nick Leitz. How you doing, my friend?
Good. How are you?
I'm great, man. I'm great.
Awesome.
First of all, just take me through before we even start talking about Talladega. Take me through this year. It's been a new journey for you, like every year is when you're just grinding as hard as you can, and in the lower series, and the truck series, and the Xfinity series. Every year, every month probably feels like a new journey. But take me through this year. How fun has it been to go to some different racetracks, probably some tracks you haven't been to before? And now we're reaching the end of the year. You've racked off an 11th place finish. Kind of take me through some of the highs and lows of this year.
Yeah, it's been a journey this year for sure. Definitely a lot of tracks that I haven't been to. I think this is the most I've ever done in a whole year too. So
Yeah.
being able to experience that and go to tracks that I haven't been to and just be there for the first time is like, okay, this is how it really is from a week to week basis. So if whatever we can do to go full time, I know what it's like now. But yeah, I mean, it's been tough trying to get the feel for the car, being part time and stuff. It's not always the best being in and out of the car with so many different amount of weeks in between. But I'm trying my best I can to get the best finish out of it.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite track so far this year that you've visited for the first time?
Visited for the first time. I don't know, man. That's tough. Maybe Gateway. I mean, Gateway was fun. I don't know where else. Texas was not that best for me. I've been to Phoenix. I've always liked Kansas and Vegas, but I've been there before in the trucks and Xfinity before. But
Yeah.
I mean, just all the different mile and a halves are probably what would be my bread and butter, really.
Do you have a least favorite track, but most challenging? Like what track has kicked your butt the most? If you would have to
Yeah,
say?
Phoenix is tough. I'm not really that good at flat tracks. Never have been in my career. Yeah, I'd say Phoenix or Homestead was fun. I'll add that. But yeah, probably Phoenix or something.
Yeah, Homestead's fun. I've talked to so many drivers about Homestead,
It's a
and
blast.
they say it's one of the funnest tracks they can run. As far as I say sim, obviously I see it see something in the back right corner there with a wheel and a triple monitor.
Yeah.
But what does your sim time look like? Because whenever I talk to people about Homestead, they're talking about how much time they're spending in the sim, trying to learn how to run the wall without hitting it as well, right? Learning about racing on edge. Is that kind of something you were doing?
Yeah. Whenever I can get in the sim right there, and that's where I'm at weekdays, just practicing for the next upcoming race. So whenever we get the chance to know where we're going, I load it up on the sim and do a bunch of hours of that, especially like Homestead, being up near the wall, learning not how to touch it, like Darlington too. Just getting as close as you can and not slapping it and destroying it.
Yeah, exactly. Now let's go to Talladega. Let's go to what happened this past weekend. I know we were just watching the replay of the Eric Almirola crash in the final lap, and I think you on the leaderboard said 22nd, right? And then since through everything that happens there in the final restart, you end up in 11th place. Take the viewers through kind of how that happens, right? And what's going through your head. And too short. Yes, they're long laps. We know they take a while, but it goes by fast, and you got to make moves, in the snap of a finger. And take us through those final laps and what it was like for you.
What's crazy about that was when Eric Almirola wrecked, I slammed on the brakes and spun out. So I was involved in that wreck pretty much, is what they're saying.
You can see that in here. Let's see.
I'm spinning out in the back. I don't know if it catches me.
Let's see. Oh,
Right
there
there.
you are.
Right
there you are. I didn't even catch that.
Yeah. So I flat spot the tires. So I come down pit road when it's closed. So I'm starting at the tail of the field when we get that green, white checkered.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I barely keep it off the outside wall too.
There he is, right there, top left. Wow, I didn't even catch that.
Yeah. I had my visor up too, and so when I was spinning, there was like a bunch of rubber and rocks hit me in the face. I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have my visor up.
Visor down. I've only ran the carts at GoPro a few times. They tell me to put the visor down, but I mean, look at Caesar up here, who literally finished 5th, and I think on the leaderboard here is 23rd.
Yeah.
But
I was behind him most of the run too, or most of that race, and to see him finish 5th, I was like, dang it, I was right there.
How do you get all the way up there? What happened?
Right. Yeah, I mean, it was a crazy last couple of laps. I think the last lap, and when everybody was all messing around for position in the back, I was like, I'm going for it, don't care. But yeah, that's where I gained most of my spots, was down the back stretch and into 3. Just held it on the bottom and went to the checkered flag and got 11. So close to a top 10 though. So close.
So close. Yeah, so close. I think, I don't know if it has the delta here. You were at what, a 10th away from a top 10, it appears. Less than that. Than that. So I mean, you get 11th, but I mean, even cooler for your organization, Garrett Smithley's right behind you in 12th.
Yeah.
So, and I've seen the grind of SS Greenlight all year. The last race that I was at was the Charlotte Roval, which was not a great race for Bobby Daughter and company.
It was still wasn't.
No, not at all. Sending one home and, whatever, what happened to Alex LeBay there at the end. I mean, shouldn't have happened, but that's just racing sometimes at the end of the day, or stock car racing in tight corners at road courses. So, I mean, how relieved is that? I'm sure, I mean, you aren't Bobby Daughter himself, right? But for him as a team owner, and I'm sure just the entire organization, to get out, not only, okay, you as a driver, you finished 11th, but hey, your teammates right behind you in 12th. Right. You both got, clean race cars that made it to the finish. I'm sure that's pretty exciting stuff back up.
Yeah, he was super excited about it. He was worried at the beginning. He told me before the race, like, I'm not going to tell you how to drive, but just hang around back for most of the race, and then when it's time to go. So I was like, okay, yeah. I was going to do that anyway, because last year I was at Talladega. I was in the 92 car, and like stage 2, I got in a wreck, and I was like, dang, I was running pretty good, and then get wrecked out early. It kind of stung. So I was just going to hang around back anyway and see how it all folded out. And yeah, we did that. So I know he was happy about a clean race car and a 11th and 12th place for the organization. Yeah, they work so hard with their cars and stuff. That was like a race car they haven't brought to the track in a couple of years, actually. So they were working pretty hard to get that to the track on time. And for me to not wreck it is also a plus.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it even last week. I think I was talking with Jesse Wuji, guy who's done all of these plate races, and just throughout the year, talking about Daytonas and Talladegas. What is it like going to a plate track with a small team, right? Where it's like, it's your chance to, they call it the great equalizer. It's your chance to get a good finish, right? But those first 2 stages, you don't really want to get up there and mix it up. You'll see the big pack of 3 and 4 wide of, the top 20 cars, which now is like 20 in the Xfinity series. You have all, people will know how competitive this damn series is nowadays with all the big teams. But you guys got him back there hanging out, right? Is there any like internal battles of like lack of patience where you're like, as a racer, you want to be up there kind of having fun, setting yourself in position, but you're like, no, like, hold it down. I got to stay back here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, throughout that whole race, I was like, I really want to get up there. I want to get up there. And I know a lot of those guys were where I was racing were thinking the same thing, but they got the experience of watching it all unfold and the chaos happening, because it's a playoff race. So these guys are going to definitely go for the stage points and go for that win to lock themselves in and stuff. But yeah, just hang around back and be there in the end and survive, and you'll definitely get a good finish out of it.
Yeah, and you sure did, with Garrett getting 12th as well. I kind of want to talk a little bit more about SS Greenlight Racing. A question, I don't know why it just popped in my head, but I've heard some stuff about Bobby Daughter's Lemonade, and I want you to explain, because like, I'm not, I want the people to know, I'm not extremely familiar with it. I was in the shop like a few weeks ago, and I was there in Charlotte. I live in Tampa, so I was just up there for the race weekend. But I was up there, and Mr. Perez was in there talking about Bobby Daughter's Lemonade, because I guess he lost in fantasy football, so he had to sell it in the Charlotte garage the next day. But what is Bobby Daughter's lemonade? Why is it so famous? Is he making it with his bare hands, crafting it himself, or is it just like,
I,
he buys it and sells it?
I
Like, what's
don't
going on
know.
here?
I don't know how it became what it is. I know Tommy is like the admin guy of SS Greenlight. He had
Oh, yeah.
he had to give some to JJ Yaley after the truck race, and he said, I think that was like good luck or something for it. So when I drank some, I was like, okay, maybe some of that will rub off onto me for the race. So I think it did, maybe with the 11th place finish. But no, I'm not sure what's what's so special about it. It's good. I've tried it. It's pretty good stuff. I don't know what the whole story is behind it all. It's very interesting.
Well, we got to find that out. I got to find that out. I've talked to Bobby plenty of times, but I've never
Yeah,
asked him about it.
ask.
So we'll definitely find out. And it's
Oh yeah,
refreshing. I mean, I'm sure in the NASCAR garage, right, for all the crew guys who are just absolutely
yeah.
baking in the
Oh
sun
yeah,
all day. I mean, that's the famous
right.
refresher right there. Before they came out with refreshers at all these places, lemonade was
Oh
it,
yeah,
So I mean, that's good. I mean, shout out JJ Yaley as well. You
yeah,
mentioned JJ racing in that truck race, mixing it up. I think he got booed out of the
yeah.
line or something, and wasn't able to get the finish he wanted. But we talk about JJ Yaley and veteran drivers like that. Is there anybody? I know there's been some veterans to come in and race for SS Greenlight. Maybe it's on one-offs and things like that, or maybe even your team back when you were at DGM. Is there any like veteran driver that you could point to that maybe like you either maybe have a small relationship with, or maybe just at one point like gave you the best advice you've ever heard or something like that? Have you ever had that type of
I've
experience?
leaned on Garrett a lot. I mean, Garrett's been a big help for me this year personally. He's given me great advice. He's got a ton of experience. So I mean, just talking with him and working with him throughout the year has been a great help for me personally, and for the team as well. So I'd say yeah, Garrett, and then Mason Maggio. I know he'll be on later. He's a good friend in the garage as
Yep.
well. So happy to
I'll be
see
on at
him
some
doing
point.
well. He was close.
You're a
He
busy guy.
he did pretty good at Talladega, and then sucks what happened with him running out of fuel with like the green white checker or something.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
but yeah, Garrett
man.
has definitely been a big help for sure.
Yeah, I think it was a fuel pump issue. I
Uh,
think for Mason, literally like flipping the switch on and off to save under caution. I'm like that car. I mean, for me, I felt like that was one of the best cars
oh
he had
yeah,
driven on a super speedway before. And I'm watching it, and he was all of a sudden a lap down. He's coming out of pit road. I'm like,
yeah,
what happened? And so I guess it was something with the pickup, some fuel pump. I don't know. He explained it to me, but I forgot. But yeah, so sucks for him and that team. We'll ask, will you be in the car for Phoenix, or was
that's
that it
it.
for you?
That's it for me for this year. I
Vegas,
mean,
yeah. Okay, so we gotta hope. I'm looking at the point standings right here. You gotta hope Mason Maggio doesn't pass you.
right.
He's
I
39.
keep checking that
He's
too.
39. He's 39th with 107 points, and he's going into Martinsville this weekend. I think he's going to Phoenix. It looks like, and he's 8 points back, so he's gonna need some really
Right.
bad days, I guess, to not get it. You never know what can happen. We're not gonna say that's gonna happen, but either way, we'll see. We'll see what the race to the finish looks like between you two. But that's good that you've been able to lean on him. I know he has his share of. He leans on Garrett
Right.
as well. Garrett Smithley is a man that's
Oh
seen
yeah.
it all. I mean, getting to talk to him this year a lot, and kind of learn more of his story, especially. And I know, we, here on the show, we got the pleasure of announcing the docu-series that they're going to do, or the show Over the Wall, talking, kind of going in depth of the Xfinity series, especially with Garrett. He's seen it all. The grind of the series is unmatched. It's completely different than I think what a lot of the newer fans see in the Cup Series today, where we have, the teams are more competitive than ever. Same in the Xfinity Series, but in the Xfinity Series, you kind of still now have your single car organizations, your family owned organizations, your A minuses, B pluses, B minus, even C plus teams in that series grinding it out. You know, are you a guy that really are you an Xfinity series lover? Like, are you a guy that really loves the racing that we put on Saturdays? Because that's something, obviously, with the co-hosts that I have and Mason Maggio and the viewers and the guests that we've had, let's just say they've a lot of them have been Xfinity series drivers. Even when we had Ricky Stenhouse Jr. on the show talking about how much he misses the Xfinity series racing as a multi-time champion. Are you somebody that loves Saturdays? You eat, sleep, and breathe what we put on the racetrack on Saturdays over the Sundays?
I personally think that the Xfinity Series is the best of the weekend. I mean, it's the best racing. I think the closest racing. I mean, they definitely put on a show. We've seen that for many races this year. So I'm a big fan of the Xfinity Series. And I hope to be there next year as well. So.
Yeah, what does the grind kind of look like for you? You talk about next year, and like every driver, I feel like is while they may be racing in their current opportunity or running one race, right, but at the same time you're trying to build your future, right? You're running one race and you're planning for the next. You're running 1 year and you're planning for the next year to make sure you're okay. You as a driver that's grinding every week to get sponsors, to get support, for your racing. What is that like? Where of the balance of like trying to relish in what you have now, but also knowing like, okay, tomorrow I got to get back to the drawing board and make sure I have something for later this year or next year. How tough is that to balance? And obviously having time to race in your sim too and practice.
Yeah, it's definitely tough because when I'm not racing, I do actually work. I don't think many people know this. I work a 9-to-5 job from Monday to Friday. So when I'm not racing, I'm working at this company that my dad has. It's a land surveying company, so I'm doing that from Monday to Friday, and then trying to find sponsors throughout the weekdays as well, and then finding time for the sim. So it's definitely a hectic weekday or couple of weeks before we set up for a race. So finding time to do all that is tough, but I'm just love the series and love being part of racing, anything racing wise. So whatever I can do to keep my dream going is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and that's certainly exciting. I love hearing about when people kind of live the double life. Especially when I serve chicken at Chick-fil-A for 40 hours on a weekly basis, and do this. Like it's tough. It's tough balance. It's not the easiest thing in the world. But as I've gotten further, into the industry, when I was a kid, I would hear the drivers and the teams always say, as they got to the end of the year, like, oh, thank God it's the off season. Like, holy cow. And me sitting there only watching it on the weekends, like, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? I do this, 50 plus weekends out of the year, like no weekends off. Give me NASCAR every weekend. Why would you want to stop doing it? And now that I've just tasted it and gotten a little more into it, and also see the grind of everybody and gotten older, like over the years, like now I get it, man. Like I get it. Like it's not that I like, okay, want it to end, right? But it's more of like, okay, I'm ready to get back to the drawing board here. Yeah, a little bit of a break. Have some time where it's like, okay, not every Friday, Saturday, Sunday we're worrying about racing, right? I can have a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The number one, yes, relax a little bit. Hey, football's on, but also have time to just evaluate stuff, get stuff ready for next year so you can hit February running. Do you kind of feel the same way and have people that
oh yeah, I'm ready for it to have the break now. I mean, doing the I don't know how many amount of races I did this year. I'm like, okay, that was quite a lot. I'm not used to it, so I can't imagine the guys doing it weekly and stuff. So yeah, ready for that break for sure.
Well, it's just like football. Obviously, every one of us, most Americans would be like, oh, I'd love, NFL football every weekend. But then our CTE levels would just be absolutely off the charts. So, that not fun. I mean, speaking of football, do you have a team? Sometimes we talk about football on this show. You got a favorite?
Really.
NFL
I mean, I don't really watch football as much as I feel like I should.
Okay. Sports team at all?
NASCAR. NASCAR is all I really
I respect
all I really do.
I respect eat, sleep, breathe. Mason Maggio is the same exact way. Like he doesn't really watch sports, doesn't have a favorite sports team. I'm like, go to a bar like on a Saturday night. What are you watching? You watching Law and Order? You watching Law and Order on the TV?
I'd say college football is fun. If that's playing, I'd watch that.
Yeah.
Not really anybody I'd root for.
College football is good. So do you have a school?
Not really, no.
That's fair. I mean, technically, I don't either. I just watch for the entertainment because it's cool. I want to go to one of those like big college football games.
That'd be fun.
One of those stadiums. Like, obviously, I've seen UNC Charlotte over there. I don't think that's like the hottest team on the market right now. I don't think they're that great. But looking around, there's certainly some fun places to go to. But anyways, back over to NASCAR. kind of as we wrap up here, I like asking these types of questions, especially as a guy that's on the come up. We talked about tracks, we talked about your favorite track, your least favorite track. What's a track that you haven't been to yet that you're like, damn, I can't wait to get there, whether you're going there or not? Like, this is a track that at some point before my career ends, I want to make sure I race there, and I haven't yet.
Daytona, surprisingly. I have never raced at
Wow.
Daytona or Martinsville. And, so in both of those tracks for sure, because if you win at those are, the coolest trophies first off, but winning at Daytona is, winning at Daytona. So yeah, those two tracks for sure are definitely ones I want to cross off before I'm done racing.
Yeah. That is true. And another question I love asking is, put things kind of in a 5-year span here. I used to ask this for drivers back when me and Tommy Joe Martins did a show back in 2020, which I guess it's 5 years later now. I could start checking in on these drivers and seeing what those predictions were like. But, goals for yourself in 5 years. I don't know how often you think about it, but you look at yourself 5 years in the future as a driver, as a person in the sport. What is your goal? Where do you kind of want to be?
Definitely full-time racing in one of the top 3 series. Yeah, it's a lot. A lot can happen within 5 years. So if I'm doing that, that'd be something cool for sure. Racing full-time in any of the top 3 series, preferably Xfinity or Cup, most likely Cup. But just doing that, winning races, just having my name out there and being known for sure is definitely something that I'd want to have as a goal for the next couple of years.
Yeah, I like it. And I mean, you've certainly done that, especially when you can take advantage of the great equalizer at Talladega, keep your car clean, get an 11th place finish. That's going to get some people talking about
There you go.
And so that was great. And it was so funny. Opening the TM chain, and obviously we'll talk about what it was, but back in 2022, I got a DM from Nick Leitz, and I was like, holy cow. I was like, what the heck? Like I've learned, like, when I don't know, I guess the Instagram account, when it becomes a certain type of account, I don't know. I've had it for a long time, but DMs get jacked.
I've noticed that as well.
There's DMs from a long time ago that I just didn't even have any idea it was there. Like one time I was at Daytona at a restaurant, and I was just normal clothes. And this is at a point where I don't think anyone's really like recognizing me or whatever. And all of a sudden somebody on Austin Dillon's crew messages me and goes, join that dinner at blah, blah, blah. I was like, what?
Like, what?
I was like, hold on.
Wait a minute.
Like, what the hell? Yeah. So that was crazy. But yeah, the algorithm's all jacked up. I think the internet was shut down the other day. Everything's going crazy. But nonetheless, my friend, I definitely appreciate you coming on. I wish you the best of luck. As far as where the people can find you, is there anything going on for you during the off season that you know of? Any little side quest racing, doing any late models? Some people like to say they're doing the snowball derby. I don't know if that's something.
Yeah, for sure. I'd like to do that.
Yeah, but anything you got planned from December to February?
Not really. No.
Besides sending a bunch of emails.
I'm trying to sell some t-shirts, so buy some t-shirts at nicklights.com. Other than that, I hope to have some 2026 plans announced soon, so stay up to date with that.
Perfect. And I like to send you off on every January, every year. It's been a tradition for the last 6-7 years. I didn't mean to clip farm that there. I'm sorry. But for the last 6-7 years, we have had the Daytona Charity Shootout on iRacing. And so if that is your iRacing service back there, I would love to formally invite you to the event. We get a bunch of NASCAR drivers out, crew guys, people in the industry, raise a bunch of money, and the winner of the race picks a charity, and all the schmackaroos go there. So last year we had a photo finish between one of the drivers that raced themselves in. We have open qualifiers the night before, like 60 plus people come out racing heats. It's the most hilarious thing of all time. So we had a photo finish between one of them and Dawson Cram in last year's race. We've had a variety of different winners. AJ McCarron, who's played football, was racing and won one year. Maybe he'll come back this year. But I just like to formally invite you. I don't know exactly when in January. we're finalizing the date here in the next few weeks.
Cool.
I'll let you
I'll
know,
be there. I
but
appreciate it.
be looking forward to seeing Nick Leitz there. But again, appreciate you coming on, my friend, and we will certainly talk to you
Appreciate
soon.
it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, man. That was Nick Leitz, driver number 07, car 4SS Greenlight Racing, finished 11th this weekend at Talladega. Awesome for them. Awesome for that team. As you guys know, we had Garrett Smithley on earlier this year. He was a good time. We enjoyed having him on. But nonetheless, that's just the first guest we have of this 2-hour extravaganza motor stardom show we have here on Tuesday nights. When will Mason Maggio join us? I don't know. He's a busy man. He was at the Rion Brothers Racing Shop. He's picking up checks. He's doing probably fire suit stuff. I don't know. But nonetheless, he may join us soon. But we do know who's joining us next, and that's Cesar Baccarella. He likes mini muffins from Alpha Prime, and we will be having him on next. So we're going to take a quick 5-minute break, and we'll be back with Cesar Baccarella on the other side to see what crazy stuff he talks about. Show's so long, we had to do the intro twice. Welcome back to the Motor Stardom Show. It's Tuesday night, October 21st. Been here for an hour already. We've talked about Talladega. We've talked about the upcoming weekend at Martinsville. We've talked to Nick Leitz about Talladega finishing 11th. We talked about his career. We talked about some fun stuff. We talked about Bobby Daughter's lemonade, which we really didn't get to the bottom to as much as I would have liked. So we're definitely going to have to figure that out here in the coming weeks. But still some exciting stuff left. We got Cesar Baccarella coming up now that we are at the top of the hour. We are going to have Tyler Tomassi following him at 7:30, and then we're going to finish off the show, and I'm going to do what I usually do at the end of Tuesday nights, and that's go race in the Venom Truck Series. Tonight is the All-Star Race for the Venom Truck Series on Turn 200. YouTube, you can tune in there to watch me try and compete with a bunch of people that race iRacing a lot. I don't. I have a $75 Amazon setup below me that is unfortunately usually malfunctions every time I attempt to use it. But it's always a fun time with those guys. So if you're free, tune in, watch me race. It's the All-Star Race tonight, so I would imagine I have to race my way in. I always join no practice, but it's a lot of fun. Anyways, Cesar Baccarella is going to be coming on the show, and this is a guy that finished 5th. I mean, we just talked to the guy that finished 11th. Does it get better than that? It does, because Cesar Baccarella finished in the 5th position. That's the highest position for him in any race of his career, taking the 4th Alpha Prime racing car, that number 5, and bringing it all the way to the 5th position. So I want to pull up here. Let's see what probably got him through that race. There it is. There we are. All right. Get it ready for him. We got the birthday cake, chocolate fudge, and blueberry muffin, mini muffins. That is what got Cesar Baccarella through all of the miles that you complete over there at Talladega. Nonetheless, excited to have him back on the show. This is the 3rd time that he has been on the show. So certainly excited to have him on. It's been exciting for Alpha Prime. How about top 20 for all 4 of their cars? Mentioned that earlier, but you have Cesar Baccarella, who is racing and finishes 5th. You have his teammate Parker Retzlaff right behind him in the 7th position. You got Josh Williams, as I mentioned earlier, fastest lap in that 14th position in the 45 car, and Brendan Poole in the 44 car, finishing 19th. So we covered all the headlines. Well, we didn't really talk about Chase Briscoe yet, winning from the Cup Series. I do have to give him a shout out before we discuss anything else here. Chase Briscoe is going to go compete for a championship in Phoenix alongside of his teammate Denny Hamlin. This is a guy that a piece came out from him earlier in the week talking about how he didn't even know he felt like he belonged in the Cup Series still. You know, there were a lot of people that doubted his move to the 19 car. There were a lot of people that doubted him when he was in the 14 car. And I think this is a driver that when he was in top equipment in the Xfinity Series, he performed, got to an organization that wasn't quite at its top and was able to be the headline, the spotlight of that team in Kevin Harvick's absence. Now that team shuts down. Joe Gibbs Racing gives him the opportunity. Bass Pro Shops, Johnny Morris stick with this driver. They don't leave. They don't say, you get this guy out of here. This isn't Martin Truex Jr. They stick with that 19 car. They stick with Chase Briscoe, one of the best youngsters, still young guys in the NASCAR Cup Series. And I think he's in a ride where there's 2 teams, maybe 3, right? If you count Penske, but 2 teams. And it seems like if you're in that car, you're going to be guaranteed a winning shot, possibly any week. And that one of those teams is Joe Gibbs Racing, and Chase Briscoe is in one of those cars. James Small clearly having a fantastic year. Calling strategy on top of the box for the number 19. That is how they got their first win of the season. And then they win again to kick off the playoffs in Darlington. And now all of a sudden they win Talladega and are able to advance to the championship. So certainly excited for him. Certainly excited for Joe Gibbs Racing. And now we'll move back to what we've been talking about for the hour. We've been talking about for 2 hours, and that's the Xfinity Series race that happened. So for the 3rd time ever on the Motor Stardom Show, in celebratory fashion, we're celebrating this time. We're not previewing here. We are celebrating what just happened this past weekend. Let's bring in 5th place finisher in the race at Talladega, Cesar Baccarella. How are we doing?
What's up? What's up?
Oh, we're hanging out, man. We're hanging out.
I'm still living the high right now.
Dude, I bet you are. I mean, I was just talking to Nick Leitz, who was driving the 07 car, and he was talking about how he was right behind you coming to that final restart, and all of a sudden that 5 car ended up 5th, and he was like, "Where did he go?" And I was like, dude, I don't know either. But all of a sudden, I mean, the smoke cleared. Because I mean, usually I have, my guys, and especially the teams and little underfunded organizations. I'm watching the battle up at the front. Okay, what's gonna go on here? And I'm like, holy hellacious, is that the 5 car? Like, I was like, how in the hell did Caesar get up there? So I'm gonna need it from your perspective, because I don't think there were any onboard cameras that came out to see your view. So the best way that you can explain it, those final 2 laps, what's going through your head? What crazy moves did you have to pull to be able to be in that position?
Well, before we got the caution, there's 3 to go, and I was ready itching to go. I was behind the 4. I'm like, come on, come on, come on. I'm like, there's not going to be a call. I don't think there was going to be a caution. And it's like, it's time to go. And I started going a little bit, and then the caution came out. And then like, we had to restart. So I was like, you know what? There was 2 guys behind me, or 3. I forgot how many it was. I was like, let me top off on gas. Fuck it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, we're not going to run out of gas. Run it, fill it up, go back out there. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take the bottom. There was a couple guys there that they were going to run out of gas, but I'm like, we were close, and I know there was enough. There was enough cautions. I think these guys are smart enough to save the gas. I'm like, there's no way I don't think they're going to run out of gas. So I went to the bottom. I think I restarted around 15th, around there. It goes, and it's time to go. When it's the last 2 laps, or when it's time or 10, whatever. When you decide to go, the horns come out, and you're gonna go. So we went, and then all of a sudden, went to the bottom, and then I saw the 14, and I started, I was like, he was in the middle, but I had momentum. It was a little bit farther. I was like, I don't fit through there, but I made myself fit, just enough. Didn't touch anybody, squeezed right in there. I'm like, perfect. I was pumping, I was pushing, Smithley pretty hard, but clean, moved him forward. And then I know he wasn't fast enough because the car was like, I was pushing, but he wasn't like going. And then all of a sudden I look to the right, I see a car. Then one of the cars starts spinning to the right. And I went to the right, went around Smithley. That's when there was like I was shot out of a cannon because I had the momentum from the draft from Smithley. Went around, came around, and all of a sudden I see the 7 car, and I'm chasing him down, and was like, I got to get behind that 7 because I know, he's fast. And I was able to get behind the 7, and he went to I went up to him. Then he came to like come down, not the block, but he see I was coming hard. And I gave him I'm like, it was close because when he came down so hard, I'm like, oh my God. And he was a little bit sideways, and I gave him thank God it was a perfect push, jolted his ass, you know what I mean, forward. Got him, I pushed him to 3rd, got him another spot, and then crossed the finish line. I think, and I would have had 4th by 1/1000. It was like 1 inch. There's a photo finish of it. We looked tied, but you can't tell. But it looks like they got me by like probably at 2 inches. So we had 4th. But I was proud of it wasn't like, all right, there's a wreck and you're racing, you're gonna get a top 10, or something like that. No, this was you could put 1st through 5th, you could put a blanket over us. You know what I mean? It was that we were by ourselves, and then you see about 10 car lengths back, you see the rest of the cars. So I was just happy my car sucked up great. It's the first time since last year I had a good car. This year my cars have been the last 2 races I've had garbage, literally. Car broke down, and the second time car wouldn't suck up whatsoever. Frank worked on it. And I was like, when I qualified, I was like, oh boy, here we go. I was like, I knew I had something. But yeah, the last 2 laps, it's like kind of like short track racing. When it goes green, it is literally ruthless. Everybody's they're beating and banging. You're squeezing through spots that you shouldn't be fitting in, and you see everybody just bouncing around. You see the cars, you don't see it on camera, but they're moving 4-6 inches all over the place. But you got to be quick. You got to be quick with your decisions. And I said it's like a chess match. You got to predict everything right. If you get it right, you're gonna have a good outcome. But the best thing was, it wasn't like it's like I caught these guys because I started 15th and I was able to catch these guys. You know what I mean? That's what I was proud of. You know what I mean? It wasn't that I was 10 car lengths back. It's like no, I was literally pushing the 7 across the finish line. But it was amazing, man. I was just real high. The 7 came over. He congratulated me. Thanked me for the push. He's in the championship. A point was a point. You know what I mean? Because now I think he's like, or 2 points. I think he's down 7 points, so that's big for him going to the last two races. But it was nice. It was proud of the team. To me, it wasn't me a top five. It was more for a team top five.
That's why I was wondering, because they got that on TV. I saw Justin get out and go and dap you up and everything, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, he's paying his respects. I mean, he's saying thank you.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
because there was a lot of pushing. I mean, especially the aero game of those cars. I mean, those cars are so fun.
Yeah.
Watching them in the pack, especially when you talk about those restarts. I mean, I believe you. Like kind of like a short track. Like everybody's kind of fan. There's no you don't see what you see in the Cup Series where it's like perfectly evened out, like 3 wide packs. Like no, it's all over the place.
No,
It's old school. It's old school super speedway racing. I love it. I mean, we've talked about it plenty of times on this show with you as well. And so it's a lot of fun to see. Certainly, more brains to see how those runs get. I mean, you literally just explained it, what was going through your head, those final laps. But you ended off talking about the team. And 2 spots behind you, Parker Retzloff. I've said it a few times in this show already. 4 Alpha Prime racing cars in the top 20. With Josh Williams getting the fastest lap, too.
He got the fastest lap.
That PR statement. How about that for
that was
PR?
cool.
A little PR lap in 14th.
Yeah.
And then Brendan Poole missed their top 20, as we call them, is able to get that final top 20 spot in 19th. But like, for you as a driver, you get out your 5th. For you as an owner to look behind you and see 3 cars clean inside the top 20 at Talladega after all the carnage that happened that race. Like, for all the bad luck that you guys have had this year, like I know that doesn't make up for everything, but I'd be like, damn, this is awesome.
Yeah, it was a good, to finish off the super speedway races, like, because we've had some really some bad luck, and we've sucked this year in speedways. We were not good, and we got faster, because in qualifying, I think me and Parker literally we threw down the identical lap, forgot what it was, but through the to the 1000s we were identical. It was just amazing, and then Josh was probably a tenth and a half behind us, and then Poole was 4/10, but he didn't have a least motor. He was the only one that didn't have a least motor. But I think we picked it up because the last 2 races we should have gone home. The car just wasn't. We didn't have the crew chief. It's just that car has been struggling, but now it's picking up, which is great. But it's just nice to say, okay, we found something, and it worked.
Yeah, for sure. It certainly worked to get the finish out of it. We can take a look again at the beautiful Mongoose Power Solutions car here, the number 5, the Ford Alpha Prime racing car that came out of nowhere. We talked about it at Daytona and what went into that deal of getting a 4th car, because Josh Williams comes in and we know he's a dog, but Caesar's like, I ain't getting up these damn super speedway races. What are you talking about? And good thing you didn't, because here we are, and you knock off this incredible finish. So, I mean, now we talked about it beforehand, before you rolled off with that 4th team. Now that you guys have done it a few times, take us through again kind of what that process has been like, how tough it can be for the team. But again, then how rewarding something like this is like, hey, we worked our ass off to get this 4th car, to get all the resources ready. Like you said, to get more speed in the cars than you guys have had this year. And hell yeah, we did it.
Oh yeah, it's brutal. Biggest thing is because you're not big funded, so every penny counts, and with like Josh's deal, we had to go buy another speedway car for him, and make it work, hire the people, and of course since I was the 4th, I get whatever's they got me a pit crew, scrounge up a pit crew for me. They were actually very good. I'm proud of the guys. And then Frank, he's the crew chief for the 44. He actually set my car up, on his spare time, worked extra hours to put it together. I talked to him this morning. I'm so proud of him. He's super excited because, like he said, it was a legitimate top 5. You were there, I don't know if between 1st and 2nd, I don't know if it's 2/10 or something like that. It was like you were right there, right behind the 7. And like he said, is you able to catch the 7, which is like, and stay with them and to push them. That was he was proud of himself, which he deserves all the props, because he made this car, what it was. And it's nice when you go out there and you have a piece that could compete really, really good, and then and especially the speedways. If you get it right, man, you could compete. You don't need the fastest car, but if you have a fast car, you could do wonders with it.
Yeah, exactly. So you have fast cars, and then we had to plug this eventually before we get back to racing. We know what really powered you through the race,
Right.
obviously. And that was the Pride Muffins. And I gotta say, I gotta give an update here. So number one, I had some today. It was
Okay.
good. I couldn't wait. I was getting a workout in, some cardio. Needed to fuel myself back up, but I gotta get an update because I think last time we talked about these, I hadn't tried the chocolate chip one yet. That was like the final Infinity Stone I had to try. So I had the blueberry.
Okay.
Birthday cake, chocolate fudge. Chocolate fudge is still my favorite, but I'm like, how did this guy do chocolate chip? Like chocolate chip's a classic, you know what I'm saying? How did we do it? And gotta say, it was good stuff, man. It was good stuff. Chocolate chip was good. It tasted like chocolate chip, and that's all I want. That's all I can ask for. Does it top chocolate fudge though? No, I gotta say, I don't know what you put in that damn chocolate fudge, but it's good,
It's
man.
that good.
It's good stuff. That's my favorite. I don't know if you have a favorite, different favorite. If you got a favorite,
It's actually the fudge, the fudge and the chocolate chip muffins are the right. I eat those over the brownies. I don't know what it is, but the muffins to me are like, yeah, the brownies are way more famous, way more velocity. They're people love them, but when people try the muffins, they're like, damn, they're like these are they're really really good. So they're up and coming. They're doing really good. But yeah, me, I'm dude, the muffin man. I love it. You eat them in the morning. I eat like 3 packs a day.
There we
Um,
go.
and I gotta watch my diet, man, because I don't go on social media. Some dude called me fat. You know, I'm
The
like,
hell?
yeah, I'm like, I read social media, like, social media is, bro, it's brutal.
Yeah.
And I'm looking, I'm like, man, she's the back row. He's really fat. And I'm like, damn, bro. Actually got to me, like, not got to me in a bad way, but I had to look in the mirror. I'm like, damn, I got abs, bro. What's going on? But it's the fire suit, it's
Yeah.
not snug. And, we look like I guess I look like the Pillsbury Doughboy this time. I got to tighten it up. Um, so I got to eat more prime bikes, bro. I got to stay away from just got back from vacation, got engaged. So I kind of like
Yeah.
ate too much in Italy, but yeah. So I got to work on that comment. Guy called me fat. So I'm like, all right. So I just got
Well,
back from the gym right now. So I'm a little jacked up on pre-workout,
he doesn't understand that the Fox Sports graphics that when they give everybody abs in their suit and make them look crazy, that's not real life, man. Like the fire suit's a fire suit, man. Like
Yeah.
the fire suit doesn't show the big muscles under it.
No,
So
it's baggy right around the waist too. You got to keep it a little bit baggy, because
yeah,
because when you get strapped in, it's, bro. When that thing is, if it's skin tight, it's gonna be uncomfortable. Some guys like it that I can't. But yeah, and also too, during the race, I had a sinus infection that sucked. So I had to get through that. And my cool suit wasn't working, so I'm like, damn, no cool suit. I had a sinus infection, so I was like, before the race, I'm like, oh, bro, I was like, this is gonna be a dreadful race. But nah, I stuck to it, and yeah, we did badass, bro.
yeah,
Fucking top 5, man. It's hard to do, man. I mean, it wasn't like at the end we raced those are 2 hard laps raced, hard. So I think it was, dude, I'm gonna keep talking about it. I'm just proud of the team. They gave me a damn car it was fast. You know what I mean? And when you're in these speedways, you could hang with the mid pack guys when they got the speed. But when you talk about junior motorsports, RCR, to hunt one of those guys down, it's not easy. You know, but the car they did it so good where it sucked up. I was like, I was adrenaline rush, man. I don't think, yeah, I don't know if probably yelling through the radio, just let's go, let's go. The spotter, Pepper was going nuts. Push the 14, do this, go that. It was like crazy. So yeah, still living it up, bro.
I bet. I mean, you talk about having a cool suit failure, which happens to a lot of the drivers. You talk about having a sinus infection. I mean, this is why health in the sport matters, like being fit, like being well, like this stuff matters. I mean, if you're a lazy slob, you're not going to get through that as much, as well as you are if you are fit. I mean, this is why a lot of the race car drivers train, they train cardio, they train fitness. I mean, you're one that can attest, like NASCAR is not like, you got to be fit to
you
drive these race cars.
Yeah, you got to be fit, especially nowadays, the heat, everything. But Yeah, you definitely got to be fit. Another thing too is I'm not a young buck like these other guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, as you get older, it's like everything slows down. Your metabolism slows down. You don't have that, that energy that these other, these younger guys or girls, females have. So but it was like, yeah, you have to being in shape, doing cardio, every day, eating healthy, training. It helps a lot when you get into these cars, and then especially when you get these red flags, you're shitting in the car. It's like it's brutal. And I don't know. I think the race lasted like 2.5 hours. I think. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's so brutal. But after the race, I did go to McDonald's. I had my Big Mac, I double Big Mac fries. I don't care. I chug it down. I'm a baby fat boy after a race. You know, I burnt all the calories off of my Dr. Pepper. So
Yeah, exactly. There you go. It's add and subtract. When it comes to calories, that's what I've learned. So like I just went on a bike ride before this too, and
nice.
my bike ride destination with one of my boys, we got cookies, and then we biked back. So it's like it was a fair trade.
Yep.
Somewhat. Maybe
Yep.
not
Yep.
really, but somewhat. But we'll say. So, Caesar, we're in October, and apparently this is your month because, like you said, you got engaged. You
Yep.
got top 5. What are you dressing up for Halloween? Like, what's going on here? Like,
I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I gotta let up to the not the girlfriend, fiance.
Mhm.
The fancy word. See what she has plans.
Yeah,
So I just roll with it, man.
yeah,
Yeah, maybe I'll wear my fire suit.
yeah. There you go.
Be a NASCAR driver for Halloween.
Yeah, just wear the Prime Bites fire suit, walk around, and
You're good to go.
make that dude on Instagram or Twitter happy when you got a bunch of candy in your bucket.
Yeah,
Like, I
exactly.
knew it.
I got more candy than you, buddy. I'm stronger. I can hold a bigger bucket. All right, call me fat, but I'm stronger than you.
Damn right, damn right. So obviously we finish up Talladega. We got 2 races left in the season. I want to ask you at least one more question as a team owner. Um, you know, this year in full, we got 2 races left. We go to Martinsville, Phoenix. Your guys are still fighting for points positions, whether that's in driver points or owner points. What can you take away from this year? For your guys, for your Brendan Pools, for your Parker Retzlaffs, for Josh Williams coming along late, the guys that have ran part-time this year, right? Perez, and Mason Massey. How's this year been as a whole as you guys have? It's been a long year, lots of ups,
Yeah.
lots of downs. You got a big up this weekend. You want to finish it strong. How are the emotions as you kind of end the year out?
Well, Martinsville and Phoenix are 2 tracks we do really good at. This year has been a crazy year. Literally highs where we finished second. Top 5s, top 10s we've had.
Yeah.
We definitely showed way more strength this year than last year, hands down. Pool's been consistent. I think he's 18th in points around there.
Yeah.
He's fighting. I think he's battling Daniel Dye right now. They're close within each other. I think he's Mr. Consistent. Super proud of him. The field was more stealthier this year than last year, as in there's more big team cars. So that's why it's a little bit. Last year I think Pool finished around 16th.
Mhm.
This year there's way more. Affiliates and stuff like that. Parker, he almost won one. Actually 2, I think. Um, and I think Atlanta. Remember, he was front row. Then he got pushed out of the way. I think it was
Yep.
Rockingham, right? I think that he almost won.
Yes.
Finished second. But he showed a lot of promise. A lot of speed. So I'm super proud of the kid. He had a bad streak going. Unfortunately, he got caught up in a lot of stuff. But I think he's every day he's getting more mature. I think he's going to be future. The kid has a really bright future. And I hope he moves up. We had this conversation for next year. I don't think he's going to be with us. I hope he might be going to a bigger team, which I'm hoping he. I'm proud of the kid.
Yeah.
So if he has opportunities, it's a boy. Go ahead, go for it. But love to have him back. Pool, we don't know what Pool's going to do next year still. So right now we have no drivers for next year signed, So we're
Yeah.
kind of in limbo. It's kind of a little sketchy for the first time. It's like, we've done better. But right now we have nobody signed for next year. So it's kind of like, Tommy's nervous. We're a little, you get a little nervous. Okay. But it's hard. This is a tough sport. I just, we want to finish the year strong. And then hopefully we have the opportunity to have some good drivers with some good funding. It's all about funding. Yeah, the more you get, the better you're gonna run. You invest money into the team, but at the end of the day, it's money makes you go fast. So hopefully next year we could, have our good drivers. Hopefully have them back and have another great year next year. And just build on it. We are working on some stuff now for next year, which is exciting news. But we got to see where the chips fall.
Yeah, exactly. You mentioned Tommy being nervous, and my counterpart to that is, when isn't Tommy nervous?
Oh yeah,
That's racetrack. I don't think I've been able to we haven't looked at each other the same since he became a strictly team owner of Alpha Prime Racing. I mean, that guy he just moves different, compared to and somebody said, and I think he said in the past, it's different than when you're a team owner versus you're driving your own car, right? When you're driving your own car, yes, you got more duties because you are also the driver, but you're also in control of what happens. You probably feel more comfortable in your own hands of like, okay, I'm driving my race car. This is, I know whatever happens, it's on me, instead of sitting on the pit box and having to watch not 2, not 3, but 4 people.
4 people. Yeah, it's more stressful. Definitely. Like when I had to watch, this year I went to a few races, and watching it's definitely more stressful. But sometimes, like as an owner driver, like Daytona is the most important race. I was in the 45. I'm like, okay, I have to finish good. I cannot wreck out. We cannot get wrecked out. We can't have something stupid. Don't get caught up in the stupid beginning, because we need the points for the next 2 races. You know what I mean? So after the 3rd race, you're in the points, and God forbid something breaks in the qualifying, you don't go home.
Yeah.
So you have that burden on you. Like, okay, go, don't go. Go. That's the first race of the year is the hardest one. Like as an owner driver, you're like, you're kind of like on eggshells. Okay, how much do you push it? When do when do you not? But this one, I think, once you're in, you don't care. You just go. Like this one. This one was wrecker checkers. You don't want to wreck anybody, of course, but you just don't want to get caught up, in something.
Yeah, exactly. And so we got 2 races left of the season, like you said. APR, you froze for a second. You're back. You got me. He's gone. Caesar back early. We were about to sign him off for the 3rd and final time this year. Oh, he's back. There we go. Hey, you made it through 3 trips there on the Motor Stardom show this year without technical difficulties, but it had to happen right at the end.
Yeah, I had a phone call.
Unfortunately, happens. But as I was saying, Sark's a little lonely this time. Next time we get you back on, we'll the party.
Yeah, where is everybody? I was expecting the crowd.
I know, man. That's the best part about it. But people look. What I've learned is it's the end of the season, and people are freaking busy. So I mean,
no Bloomin' Onion today, bro. Where's Bloomin' Onion?
Steven joined an hour ago. He was in a McDonald's drive-through, but he was doing law school stuff. Mason's touring shops. He's getting checks and fire suiting up for his last 2 weeks. My buddy Tanner, who he said he congratulated you in his top 5. He's making pizzas over there in Pennsylvania. So everybody's doing something.
Mason had a fast car.
He did, man.
Yeah, I was so happy that he went to GGM and was able to get a fast car. Kid deserves it. And he was he was playing it right. I don't know what happened at the end, but he was playing the race right.
Fuel pump issue.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah,
I knew something happened, but he qualified fast, bro. He was, I think, what did he qualify, like 20th, 21?
Yeah, 19th.
Oh, damn, even better.
15. And he texts, lost fuel pressure under caution with 3 laps to go. And they were going to be in position to potentially be up there, mix it up top 10. I mean, all the those guys were able to get top 15 and stuff at the end of the race. So that was cool. But gutted for him, but he will certainly be back. I told him, I hope he does another race, runs it back with Mario, because that's Florida. I mean, just like you, Florida team, Florida guy, Mason Maggio, it's the perfect pairing, man.
And but DGM he built fast super speedway cars. I raced for him, and his speedway cars are quick. He knows how to get them. They're very sensitive, because he has them trimmed out to the max. But man, Mario builds a hell of a speedway car, and you can see it in the qualifying. Ellis and all that.
Yeah, exactly. They had a fast car, but we will certainly be back. And hey, man, the next time we probably talk to you on the show, we'll be prepping for Daytona.
Yes,
We'll have a
sir.
big party in here. We'll have the ultimate hype fest for Daytona weekend, and it's gonna be a good time. We can always promise you a good time.
All right, brother. I
So
appreciate it. Top
good to
5,
have you,
baby.
man.
I'm still gonna gloat for 2 more days. You know,
Yeah, damn right, damn right. Top 5. This is a P5 Caesar
P5,
Baccarella
baby. You know,
signing
so
off. Thanks for having you.
thanks, brother. You have a great one. All right.
You too, man. Caesar Baccarella Vision 5th in the Xfinity Series race on Saturday, riding the high. We talked to Nick Leitz, who finished 11th. We talked to Caesar Baccarella, who finished 5th. And some people saw that 69 truck racing around up at the front on Friday. That's my friend Tyler Tomassi here, bringing him in to the show. The last guest that we have on here, but we saved the best for last because, damn, what a race you had on Friday. First of all, how you doing, man? Pleasure to meet you here virtually.
Yeah, nice to meet you as well. Doing well.
Awesome. Glad to hear, man. And so, like, for me, I mean, I had to do some double checking here and there on the race on Friday. Obviously, those trucks, first of all, I always tell people when I'm watching the Truck Series Super Speedway races, like, you can't miss a lap because, like, these guys are literally what seems like sideways on the backstretch, like pushing each other for the lead. I'm sure you could see and feel as well how dicey these trucks are in the super speedways, how crazy some of these guys are pushing, probably some warranted, some not, as we saw with some of the incidents that we saw. But I mean, how was it to be up there mixing it up with everybody? I mean, you guys in that truck clearly had it trimmed down. You guys had some speed.
Yeah, no, definitely. It was fun. Yeah, they were pushing. I wish they pushed a little harder when we were out of it.
Yeah.
We had some wrecks, but no, yeah, definitely the beginning was kind of crazy. We came close to almost getting killed a couple times, but no, it was fun. The truck was way quicker. We had some issues through tech on Thursday or Thursday. And so we didn't really have the truck where we wanted to be at all. And then I don't know, sometimes I feel like, we accidentally found something almost because we were way quicker than we thought we were being qualifying. And then in the race, we were really, really good. So it was actually kind of more surprising how fast we were. But no, it was fun to race up there with those guys. I just wish that it lasted a little longer and we didn't have that tire go down.
Yeah, those are unfortunate. I mean, we were literally just talking about Mason Maggio, who's the co-host of the show, who maybe dropped in here at some point, but he had literally racing up front all day for DGM, and they have a fuel pump issue with 3 to go, or I think he said lost fuel pressure with literally 3 laps to go in the race. So it's unfortunate when those issues happen because you've had a clean truck, but in these instances, as you can see, I found this beautiful picture that you guys put up of the sunset in the background and a clean truck. Like when you leave Talladega, we know, especially with small organizations, and we know Carl Long is not wanting to go home with a beat up race car or truck. Is it still at least rewarding where it's like, okay, yeah, we didn't get the finish we wanted, but hey, we didn't crash the truck.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, so now we have a truck for Daytona. That was, we were planning on running Daytona, but it all kind of depended on if we made it through this. So, yeah, no, we were happy to bring it home clean. That's honestly when we had a tire go down, the first thing I thought was, well, at least I know, once I made the pit road, I was like, at least I know that, we'll probably more than likely make it out of here alive and have a truck to bring to Daytona. But the first half of the race, I was definitely going for it.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, you were definitely going for it. You were up there mixing it up. Ellie Productions on the truck, which is cool. Like when I was growing up, that was something that I watched on YouTube. Like it's been a long time, but like it's been long enough time to where it brought back memories. What kind of partnership has that been for you? Especially to have them on the truck this weekend. But I believe they've been on the trucks a few times before. I believe wasn't it your first, like not your first start maybe, but initially. They've been with you for a little bit, right?
He came on board for my Xfinity attempt. Well, he was on the hood of the truck at Bristol.
That's right, Bristol, right? Yes.
Yeah, and on the Xfinity car at Bristol. And I had him as like a small associate for Nashville and the Roval. But we missed it at Bristol because we broke.
Yes.
So we decided to try to put together a deal here to go to Talladega, and we had all the fans come on board. We had like 280 names, raised a bunch of money, and Yeah, no, it's been a really cool partnership. He has a lot of fans. It helps grow my fan base as well, and it's just a cool thing. You see a lot of people that have normal sponsors on their cars. It's something unique and something a
Yeah.
little cool.
Yeah, exactly. So that's been awesome to see. Obviously, the truck is very nicely designed, and I say nice because that's what everybody spams my comment section with whenever I post about the '69 truck. Has that been able to add at least a little humor, right, to these
Oh yeah,
starts where
I love it.
you're racing, you're not just racing, right? They're seeing the '69. Maybe they don't see Tyler Tomassi at first, but they see the '69 truck and they're just like, nice.
Yeah, no, I definitely love it. I like playing into it. It's funny to tell people what number I drive. So
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I mean, you have to play into it, right? I mean, especially in this sport, hey man, anything that gets people on board with you at this point in NASCAR, especially social media age, everything like that, take it and relish with it, So I think that's cool, and I think what's almost even cooler is this weekend. Technically, this past weekend you were a teammate to Casey Mears. I don't know what those conversations are like, how much you get to talk to the fella, but he gets to hop in your truck this weekend at Martinsville to make his 600th career start. So again, I don't know exactly how those conversations, if any, have been. We know he's built a relationship with the car along this year, coming along, kind of just coming back here to get to 600 starts. He gets to do it this weekend at Martinsville. How cool has it been to see a guy like Casey Mears, who was racing, for a long time in the Sport Cup and Xfinity level, now make his first career truck start for Start 600 in Carl Long's truck?
no, it's been cool. I didn't see him at Dega because I think he came in the day after, but I met him at Martinsville because he was my teammate technically at Martinsville as well when I did Xfinity, and he's just a really cool, down to earth guy. That's how a lot of these guys are, to be honest, in NASCAR. You watch them on TV and you see them in like the celebrity light, and then you meet them and they're just normal racers. So he's been really cool, and it's been really cool to call him a teammate of mine.
Yeah, exactly. You talk about the sport. I mean, that's what I tell people a lot that are trying to get into the sport. It's really an open book. It's really unlike any other sport, and especially the stick and ball sports, we have in the world. It's like you can kind of pave your own path, right? It's hard, right? Some things aren't going to fall your way. But as far as meeting people and gaining connections with the different scales of, tiers we have here in NASCAR, it's very accessible. A lot of the drivers and teams are very open, and I'm sure, is there any like noticeably people, we had a conversation, I can't remember who I was talking about with, but they were telling me how like Justin Allgaier is like one of the most stand-up people in the Xfinity garage, will talk to anybody, any driver, no matter who you're racing for, what tier. Has there been any, I asked Nick Leitz this, but has this been any like veteran driver or like somebody you've kind of like been able to like pick their brain this year, or even just talk to one time and they gave you some advice and you were like, that was sick?
Honestly, I really don't know. I mean, obviously Carl's my team owner and he's raced
Yeah.
before. I mean, and then Josh Reum, really big help to me. Frankie Muniz, we talk a lot. He helps me out. He helped me with kind of just some tips about getting around Talladega in the draft and stuff and what to expect and all that. So, yeah, I mean, besides like the people on my team, I don't really talk to too many people outside of that. But everybody I have talked to has been, honestly, open arms. And, like you said, maybe from the outside, people might think it's hard to get into, but like everybody's really welcoming.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, as far as your come up in NASCAR, we know this is a journey that has only been going for. I mean, the journey's forever, right? But as far as officially, getting these starts, this is something that's been going on for, a few years now. What has that grind? What has that process been like? Like, how rewarding was it when you were able to, secure that first start in NASCAR? I remember to this day you making that announcement, making your first start in the Truck Series. How exciting has that been for you? How much work has it been, obviously? And how do you kind of take what you've been able to accomplish here in the last few years and use it as motivation to kind of pave your road ahead?
Yeah, it's a lot of work. The first start, honestly, was the hardest because, it was all my money, no outside help or any of that, just saved up for a couple of years. And then, had already talked to a bunch of teams before, but never really had the money to do it, but saved up and then was able to get in that truck for Josh. And then after that, things came a little easier with sponsorship stuff. As every race I do gets easier to find sponsors, but then like the bar gets higher for performance and then you start wanting to be in better stuff. So it's like, it's pretty difficult, but no, yeah, it's definitely a grind as you know. I mean, it's a big money game. It's just, like 2% driving and 98% sponsor hunting. So it's a lot of work. And, I just ran Talladega and that's probably my last race for the year unless something comes up. And, the off season's basically non-existent. I mean, it's 4 months, which is like nothing. So it's like you're already, talking to people about next year. And, we got Daytona obviously, but then after that, I don't know what I'm doing. So just trying to, my goal is every year is to run more races than the last year and have a more solid schedule. Because this year, like I was only supposed to run 4 and I end up running like 10. But it's good. But I kind of want to go into a year being like, okay, I know I'm running 15 races rather than kind of like, oh, I got 1 or 2 and we'll see what happens. So that's just kind of like what I'm trying to work towards now.
Yeah, because I mean, you talk about just being able to mentally prepare for the year, but as far as like to a weekend to weekend basis, I mean, I know a lot of prep goes into different drivers have different types of prep, but at least as far as like mentally preparing for a racetrack, but also if you're doing sim work or anything like that, like I'm sure you'd rather have a little bit more notice of say you're going to a track maybe for the first time because I'm sure I know you've done that a few times this year, go to a track the first time, and as we know we don't get too much practice in qualifying nowadays. So I'm sure that goes kind of into part of it. You don't want to, while it's cool of like, oh, maybe right before the weekend, you get a call, hey man, come drive. But I'm sure it's a little bit better, at least maybe for at least preparation and then also likeliness of better results if you kind of have some more time to kind of prepare, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, not only that, I live in Rhode Island, so like I get these calls on like for the Roval. I found out, I think it was like Tuesday. That was like the third time this year I found out on like a
That's
Tuesday.
right.
And it's like I'm all the way in Rhode Island and I hate to fly. I get sick on planes. So
Oh, wow.
unless it's across the country, like I will drive. So usually it's, hey, you're driving, and an hour later, all my bags are packed and I'm driving 12 hours all the way to North Carolina and then to whatever track. So yeah, no, and then not only you're right, like especially too when you're racing and like you're in a race and you're like, okay, I got, I'm running 10 more races after this race. It's less pressure when you're like doing these one-off starts and you almost wonder, you don't really know like this could be literally your last start ever. Like you don't know if you're gonna find money for the next one. So it puts a lot of pressure on it rather than if you have a bunch of races lined up, you're a little more relaxed and you can enjoy it more.
Yeah, exactly. So has there been a track? I've asked a lot of people this, but I asked, Nick this earlier tonight, but has there been a track that this year or last year that you've went to for the first time and you found it like the most challenging? Like if you had to pick your most challenging track so far, you were like, damn, that kicked my ass. What track would you pick?
Well, it's funny because the second time around it became my favorite track, but the first time going to Bristol, I was totally not ready. I mean, I've never driven. I'm flat short tracks. I didn't even know like, what I was going in for. I mean, Bristol, the G-force load. I mean, I've never felt something like that in a race car before. G-forces in general. Like I'm, third mile bull ring. This was like totally different. The first time, it was intense. I raced for Young's when I did that. And yeah, I didn't run good and got lapped a bunch. And then the second time coming there this past year, we got 21st with Josh. So, and now it's my favorite racetrack. At first I didn't like it, but then once you learn to like love the fact that you feel like you're going to pass out every lap, then it becomes a lot more fun. But that place, honestly, out of all the tracks I've been to, is the hardest. It's my favorite. And there's no place like that.
Yeah, Steven Lazzi, who would be on this show, he talked about how Bristol was his least favorite track because in the races that he has done there, he's always just been the moving chicane, and talking about how it's not fun at all to just be being lapped. It's actually, quite frankly, scary when trucks are moving by you at that pace. So I'm sure once you're able to, like you said, get a finish in the 20s, I'm sure it's a little bit more enjoyable. So that's awesome that you were able to do that. But I'm sure the GFO, I feel like that's something that not a lot of people think about or talk
Yeah,
about.
honestly, I didn't
Like
think about it at all.
different than just playing a video game or
Yeah.
like racing on a basic simulator, right? Like I know some simulators are crazy
Yeah.
and they like tip and stuff like that, but like nothing I'm sure compares to being in the race car of like getting on that bank and be like, damn, this is steep.
Yeah, it's just, like I did a bunch of iRacing and stuff, and like, I mean, I wasn't slow. I had to qualify in my first time there, and I made it the show.
Yeah.
But it was just, I mean, you're just not ready for it, and then you have to remember to breathe in the on the straightaway, because if you don't breathe down the straightaway, good luck in the center of the corner. But no, I love that place, and one of the reasons that I can agree with Steven that I hated the place at first is you literally get lapped before you even know it. I mean, you got good cars that get lapped. But then my second time around, I realized, I mean, obviously with the equipment we're in, we're going to get lapped regardless. But I realized, you can use getting lapped to your advantage because you can tuck in behind the leader. And then sometimes the guys you're racing are trying to let the leaders by. And then you end up, in the spring, I got up behind the leader and I passed 4 guys I was racing because they were on the bottom trying to let the leader by. And I just went and ripped the top with the leader and I got 4 spots. So you have to be very aggressive there. You can't, most tracks you can lay over. If you lay over and let the leader by at Bristol, you'll get lapped again before you know it. Like you cannot be nice there. You have to go, go, go. That was the mistake I made the first time, but the second time I figured it out.
Nice. You put your foot down and you made some headway. So that's good to hear. And so on the flip side, I guess you talk about, so Bristol was your worst and then now might be your favorite. Okay, so we'll scratch Bristol out of the equation here for this next question. What has been your favorite track, I guess, besides Bristol that you have visited so far?
Probably, I guess, I'm trying to think. I guess Pocono. I guess I liked Pocono. I honestly thought I would hate it because on iRacing, I'm not a fan of the big tracks. But I liked Pocono just because, mainly because of the tunnel turn. That's where at least the group that I was racing, that's where I would get a lot of guys because it's really easy to overdrive it because you can drive it in. You can drive it in kind of deep into turn 3, but turn 1, you can drive it in so ridiculously deep in the trucks. Like it's kind of stupid how much grip they have. You can drive it past the 1 marker, but then you come to the tunnel turn, you have to baby it in. And I was just so good to there. And we finished 24th on the lead lap. That was the first race with MBM in the truck in the 69. So, I mean, we were quick. So, yeah, that's honestly probably my, I guess, favorite big track so far.
Yeah, well, that's good to hear. I don't hear that answer a lot. Some people Steven loves Pocono, just because he's from that area, so it's like his home track. So whenever he hears, Pocono hate, he gets really upset about it. But that's certainly a track that's intriguing. And then now I guess the third somewhat question to keep on this little track tangent here. What's a track that you haven't visited yet that you're like, okay, by the end of my career, I want to make sure that I race at this place?
Well, I'll give you 2 answers. One, it doesn't exist anymore, the Chicago Street Course. So,
man,
now
you want to go there?
Yeah,
come back.
Yeah, when it comes back, I'll go there. And then I guess the track I need to go to is Darlington. I feel like I'll like there. I feel like everybody that I've talked to, anybody who says their favorite track's Bristol, usually Darlington's right there with it. So I haven't been yet, so I could say that and then come back on here a year later and say I hate this place. But I think I'll like the place, so I kind of want to go there, and I think that I could maybe have a good run there in like a truck or something.
Yeah, that is true. Darlington's it looks fun. Anytime I get to race it on my little broke iRacing simulator, boy, is it a good time. Like those tracks like that, Bristol. I think I ran like 5 flags one time. That was a fun time. So certainly enjoyable. We talk about 5 flags, talk about Snowball Derby. We talk about racing that happens between December and February. As far as where people can find it, is there anything you got planned as far as getting behind the wheel from November to February yet, at least?
No, not yet. I wish. I mean, I would love to run the Snowball Derby, but it's just, unfortunately, the late model stuff costs more money than the truck stuff now. So
Go do the ARCA test, man. I'll see you in February or January, whatever the hell it is.
No, yeah, I've been wanting to run the Snowball Derby because I came from late models and stuff, and I've been wanting to do that, but it's It's just too much. And then if you don't spend the right money, you're not making the race. Like there's zero chance. I mean, you look at Brad Keselowski. There's good guys that go there. I mean, Chase Elliott missed it, but qualified in through the last chance qualifier a few years back. So it's a really hard race, and you can't cheap out over there. You got to put it all in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a tough one. I mentioned the ARCA test because like literally last year I'm there, and like Grant Enfinger was there, and I'm like, what is this guy doing? Like, does he just want to drive really bad? And he probably does, Grant Enfinger's the guy that probably just likes to drive. And I was like, does this guy just want to drive 24/7? I'm like, there's actually no purpose of him being at the ARCA test, but I love it for the love of the game. That's what we love. So hopefully, we'll all hope here, that you can get in the Snowball Derby one day. And the last question I'll leave you off with, I love to ask people this, is put it on a 5-year scale. You look 5 years ahead. Are there any, what goals would you say you have, and where do you kind of see yourself? Where do you want to be in 5 years as a race car driver and as a person in the sport?
Yeah, I mean, obviously everyone's going to be like, winning all this crazy stuff, but realistically, I just kind of like what I said earlier. I just want to be in a stable, secure, full-time ride. Just like I kind of know what I'm doing. I know every year what I'm doing, and funding isn't an issue, and it's just kind of, you're just focusing on racing. So that's where I look to be in 5 years. I mean, obviously hope to be a bit better than just racing. Like I hope to be, winning or doing stuff like that. But that's where, if I'm doing that in 5 years, especially like, our situation now, we don't have all the money in the world. So that would be pretty successful.
Perfect. Sounds good, man. Well, it was a pleasure to virtually meet you on here, man. And I will, if you're going to be in Daytona, then I guess I'll see you in February, man.
Yeah, I'll see you there.
Gotcha. Awesome, man. Well, thank you for coming on. Best of luck with all your email sending, as those do during the off season. Hopefully you're able to strike some stuff. We'll be doing some stuff for the off season. I'll be sure to let you know. I don't know if I race often. We do a charity race in January. So I will certainly let you know the date when that's finalized in the next week here, and we'll get you out there and give you a chance to win some money for some charity.
Yeah,
at Daytona, it's chaotic.
I just gotta hope my computer makes it. You say your iRacing setup's poor, mine is bad. It's bad.
You know what? We're gonna cover every ounce of that iRacing setup. It'll be a part of the story.
I might lag out. I'll probably be coming out of Florida to check it, and then I'll just disappear, and it'll say that.
You got the Timmy Hill setup, man. NBM Motorsports. You'll literally just be carrying on the tradition right there.
Yeah.
So that'll be perfect, man. Well, thank you, man, for coming on, and I will certainly talk to you soon. Appreciate it, man.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Have a good night.
Yes, sir. You too. All right. Mr. Tyler, who finished, I believe it was in 27th officially in the truck race, but we don't have to talk about that because they were running up front during the majority of that race. So we got 7 minutes left here in the Motor Stardom show. We've had a lot go on tonight. We started at 6 o'clock. We talked about Talladega. We ran from 6 to 7, as Kyle Larson said, inside of his race car. 6-7. We had Nick Leitz on the show. We had Caesar Baccarella on the show. We just had Tyler Tomassi on the show. So now we're going to bring in the two guys that Caesar was asking, where are they at? But unfortunately, they have lives. And then one of them's Tanner Pennsylvania, and the other one's Mason.
Yeah! I'm late as hell, but I'm in the middle of something. I'm on a show with RJ.
Man, yeah.
I got too excited there, guys. I was screaming.
Yeah, man, it's all good, man. Love to talk with you guys. As we close out the season. Steven dropped in unscripted at the very beginning of this show and said his goodbye to Checkered Flag Dan as a full-time member on the Motor Stardom show. And so as we finish the year, Tanner Popella is a man that made a cameo on the show earlier in the year with Caesar Baccarella. Some of the most exciting episodes that Mason would miss because he was either sick or in the Keys. But now he is here on tonight's episode, and we can talk at least a little bit about your race on Saturday. Everyone that we've had on the show has mentioned it and how happy they were for you for that opportunity. Especially Caesar, being a guy that's been with DGM Racing. He wanted to relay the message that he was happy for you, excited for you that you got the opportunity. Hope it happens again. hate that your fuel gave you problems and you had to go a lap down, but damn, you had a freaking rocket ship on Saturday. I'm sure that is like going through your head probably every 30 minutes of the day.
Yeah, it definitely is. That one stung way worse than any other race that I've been a part of in my NASCAR career. Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, huge shout out to DGM and everybody a part of that team. That car was so cool, and I've known the Goslin family for the last couple of years. With being in the sport and just saying hello. We had always talked about putting something together, but unfortunately, every time that we did, it was always short notice or not the right circumstances, and it was like, hey, here we are. And at the time that we had put this deal together, obviously trying to do as much as I can with the team that I've been with this year with JGM. But unfortunately, at the time that they were booked, and I said, hey, Mario, I think this is the perfect time if you have a seat still available. And thankfully we did. And man, I mean, we had an absolute rocket during the race. We qualified great in 19th, a new best career qualifying effort for me. And on top of that, we just ran a great race. And, that was something that I was really proud of. And we did a lot of things right. We avoided the wrecks. We were conservative, but we were also aggressive, which was, something that I felt like stood out compared to my past plate racing experiences. We were still aggressive. We were still trying to make moves and put ourselves in a spot to capitalize on it. And obviously, before we ran out of fuel, we were about to do just that. I think we were on the path to restart, I think like 10th or 11th or something like that. And unfortunately, just ran out of fuel. We knew it was going to be close. We were hoping we were going to go green all the way through to the end. And unfortunately, it just didn't happen. So, but the thing for me is it wasn't from a lack of effort. Like we gave it our all. We did everything that we could to try to get a great result, and we were knocking on the door. So I appreciate DGM and everybody a part of that. Appreciate them, giving me a really fast race car and giving me the opportunity in the first race. Pretty cool to have the Florida kid get to work with the Florida team. That's always really cool and sentimental to me. But hopefully at least more opportunities in the future. And big thank you to all the partners and everybody that made it possible. And we got 2 more to go left in the year. Going to Martinsville, back with JGM this weekend in the 53 with PTI, some new partners with PTI and Indicor, Southern Contracting coming back on board as well. So got some cool stuff. Still got some stuff cooking up the rest of the year. But definitely a bittersweet, we'll call it, is what I would describe this past Talladega.
Yeah, a lot of great finishes for some smaller teams. SS Greenlight Racing, 11th and 12th. Talked to Nick Leitz earlier in the show. Joey Gase Motorsports team, you're going back with this weekend, double top 20, much needed for that organization.
Oh, yeah.
Joey and David Starr to get that. And then the man we had on the show, Big C's,
Top 5 for the 5 car. That's
one last
big
congratulations for the man powered by the mini muffs going up there and getting a top 5. This is a man where, let's recap his month. And I call him Mr. October, and I'm not talking about baseball because Cesar Baccarella has gotten engaged and scored his best career NASCAR finish literally in the same 2-week span here. So dude's on a roll. Clearly it's his last race of the season. He literally gets to take that for the next 4 months of his life before he gears up for Daytona again. So that's awesome. Some nuggets certainly dropped in there by Cesar when we heard him for Alpha Prime Racing. They, according to him, don't have anybody under contract yet for next year. This is a team that's kind of looking to see what they look like, right? They know they have some great drivers that are probably getting good offers from other teams. And so that may be in the fact, in the realm here, and we don't know exactly what they're going to do as an organization. But when you finish 4 cars inside of the top 20 at Talladega, no matter what, if you are Juggins Racing, Junior Motorsports, or in this case Alpha Prime Racing, that is an amazing feat. If you are a co-owner, Cesar Baccarella and Tommy Joe Martins, who is what we call the most nervous man in the garage area every single race. And when you have 4 cars on a super speedway, I'm sure he was even more nervous. But when you power yourself with nutritious Alpha Prime mini muffins, your day is just going to keep on rolling.
So they started selling these at Sheets now, and I couldn't be happier because Sheets sells them for like 2 for $5. So anytime I make a Sheets trip, which is a lot, I go and I get 2 for $5 mini muffins, dude. It's awesome.
Mini muffs. That's a good time. And we'll all be waiting for the day until we get Densey Energy pouches up.
Oh, wow.
Sheets. On board of the number 91 car this year. Obviously, a big thank you to Densey and everybody with that program for being a presenting partner of the Motor Stardom show this year, presenting the question of the week to the drivers that we were talking to by the fans, powered by Densey. Whatever flavor you're getting, you're embracing the Viking spirit when you put this thing in your mouth. So shout out to Densey pouches. Mason Maggio's rocking the flavor that is.
Chaos Cola. That's my
Chaos
personal favorite.
Cola.
I've got a lot of cans lined up in my room, but no, appreciate everybody for their support this year, including Densey, both on and off the racetrack, with the show as well. So they've been fantastic. Use code Maggio15 when going to Amazon and getting some for yourself. Give them a try. Tons of great flavors, tons of cool stuff to choose from, and got one more race with them at the end of this year, and we'll have some announcements on that soon. So really excited about that.
Damn right. Shout out Densey. Shout out David Starr for his top 20. Shout out Whataburger. Table number 33. I was in South Lake, Texas. So shout out David Starr. He's left my last 2 show invite requests on red, but that's okay.
I'll talk to David. Me and David.
Talk to David for me.
Yeah, me and David are tight, but you know what's funny is there's a Whataburger that actually opened up about 10 minutes from my house, so got to give it another try. They actually had an ARCA car on as a show car for the grand opening, so I thought that was pretty cool.
I'm yet to have Whataburger. Would you say it's better than McDonald's?
That's a rough comparison, man. You know, because McDonald's is like chain for sure.
Yeah,
like everybody knows McDonald's. I feel like you got to compare it to. Let's compare it to what? Steak and Shake, maybe.
Oh, okay.
I think that's a good way to put it. I think that's a good way to put it because there's not as many. You don't see a Whataburger in every corner, like you do at McDonald's, unfortunately. So it's like you gotta find something similar to compare it to. And I think Steak and Shake is a good one for sure.
Yeah. Exactly. So I what was I going to mention? I don't know. Oh, Caesar said after his race, he got a double Big Mac, large fry, Dr. Pepper, and told the guy that called him fat on Instagram to suck it. So
that's so tough, awesome. Dude. That's so tough.
Honestly, when you finish top 5 at Talladega, you might as well get your cheat meal while you're at it. So
for sure.
You burned all the damn calories. Well, he said he lost his cool suit failed. And he was dealing with a sinus infection. Wow. So, I mean, that's warranted.
Damn,
to go out there and let it rip. But that's why you be fit in this sport. That's why Mason Maggio goes to the gym. All right. That's why Cesar Baccarella goes to the gym. And that's why I need to get back in the gym. It's been 3 weeks.
Next time you come up to North Carolina, RJ, we're hitting the gym. It's as winter approaches, it's also bulking season. So,
dude, I can't bulk myself
up. To get some prime brownie bites to help bulk up, get some protein in for this winter.
That's a lean. That's a lean.
By the time Daytona and spring come back, baby, let's go.
That's a lean bulk right now, right there. Nothing but prime bites.
Yeah, dude, nothing but stream prime bites. Caesar said he eats 3 in a day. So, you know what? I believe it. He probably inhales the entire package.
He's getting his protein in, man. I respect it.
You can't slight him for that. So, yeah, it is certainly winter season. I certainly wished it, and I don't, it's bittersweet. But, like, I thought Charlotte was going to be my last trip of the year. I thought I was going to Martinsville, not going to Martinsville anymore. Logistic stuff just didn't pan out, unfortunately.
I cried yesterday when I found out the news.
I was going to be on Mason Maggio's couch again, and unfortunately, life sometimes punches you in the face. And I am going to be stuck here watching Martinsville on my TV. My first Martinsville hot dog will have to wait until next year, but I will be there next year. I will guarantee that I will be at Martinsville Speedway next year. While it didn't work out to end this year, there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to happen over the off season. Of course, we're going to be bulking up like Mason Maggio says. Business is going to be up. Stocks are going to be up. Motor Stardom is going to be up. And next year is going to be a fantastic year. I can't wait. We got 2 races left in the season. Ladies and gentlemen, I will go to both of you to close out the show here. Who is our NASCAR Cup Series championship picks?
You know what?
If I'm going no bias at all towards my favorite driver, I would sadly say Logano.
Your favorite driver needs to win this weekend. By the way.
Blaney is win or lose, and so is someone else's win or lose.
Yeah, Blaney's been really good at Martin. Hey, listen, Blaney's clutched up at the last 2 years in Martinsville.
Listen, I was about to say, Blaney could three-peat this year, and if that would be really clutch if he did. So I would want Blaney to win, but I think Logano is going to win.
Listen, I've heard it more this year than I ever heard. I keep hearing from people, they're like, you know what? This is Denny's year.
Yep.
I keep hearing it more than ever.
No.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm feeling the hype too. I've been denying it for years, but I'm feeling the hype for whatever reason. I don't think it's impossible. And then on top of that, I think Chase Briscoe just completely shocked the industry by winning Talladega and locking himself into the championship four. So, and we've talked about it on the show multiple times. The 19 has been so solid this year. And it's really shocked a lot of people. Not saying that Chase couldn't do it, but it's just, new team, new driver, chemistry trying to build. And obviously it's built up way quicker than anybody expected. And I mean, they've won 4 races this year?
Yeah.
3 or 4 races this year. So, I mean, who knows? The 19's been solid this year. I think Chase could maybe put himself in contention as well. Chase Briscoe.
I think, my pick at the beginning of the playoffs was William Byron. My pick right now, I think Chase Briscoe wins the championship. I think he's got the momentum. That car is damn fast, and that is a guy that has won at Phoenix before in a NASCAR Cup.
True. First Cup win.
Exactly. They qualify really well. I think you just take that team right now and the high that they're rolling on, and I think they win the championship. Now, I think it's different if Ryan Blaney wins Martinsville. I think, to me, if Ryan Blaney wins Martinsville, that's my pick for Phoenix. If Ryan Blaney doesn't win Martinsville, I'm going with Chase Briscoe because I think a Penske car on a roll is almost unbeatable. Ryan Blaney is going to be the man to beat if he wins Martinsville and gets to Phoenix. But if he can't get to Phoenix, because unfortunately they've had a bad 2 races, I think it's going to be Chase Briscoe that wins the championship. But we'll see. This weekend, 2 o'clock, I believe, NBC, Martinsville. I will not be chowing hot dogs, but Mason Maggio will. For us. He will have to double up on the hot dogs just for me. And then we have Phoenix the weekend after, and then we're in the offseason, man. It's been a long but quick year. This has went by really fast, but it's also been a long time. And I am ready for the offseason. I'm sure you are as well, Mr. Mason. And hopefully everybody enjoys some races. It's gonna be wicked. Truck Series, Xfinity Series, already crazy enough at Martinsville. The Cup race is gonna be crazy enough. Hopefully Tanner's able to catch whatever he can when he's not serving pizzas.
I serve more than pizza. I also serve pasta.
Oh.
This is Italian over here.
Italian. Okay, Italian. Okay, I see. Exactly. So, nonetheless, let's wrap it up here. I've been streaming for 2 hours and 10 minutes. But it's been a great episode of the Motor Stardom Show. We had Nick Leitz join me. We had Cesar Baccarella join me. We had Tyler Tomassi join me. And now, to end off the show, we have Mason Maggio and Tanner Popella joining me as well. We had Steve Malazzi join me at the beginning of the show. Almost forgot about that one. Everybody's been here. Everybody's been watching. And it's been a great year at Motor Stardom Show. We got a few episodes left. We got Corey Day next week. That's going to be a good one. Can't wait for that. Thank you guys all for tuning in as always. And we will see you next week at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Played the wrong graphic, damn it. Anyway, shout out Amir Alexander. We will bring him on the show before the season ends. Enjoy the new outro video.